Stan Mathabatha was re-elected for a third term as the ANC Limpopo provincial chairperson after beating Dickson Masemola. The ANC in the Limpopo has thrown its weight behind Cyril Ramaphosa for a third term come the December National Conference. Stan Mathabatha says he has no appetite to be in the top six, but those close to him say branches would like to nominate him for national chairpersonship at that coming conference. Well, Mathabatha joins me now for further discussions about his plans. Mr. Stan Mathabatha, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us, and firstly, congratulations on that re-election for the third time as the chairperson of Limpopo, and also congratulations for holding quite a steady and successful conference. Limpopo seems to have been one of the smoothest ANC conferences thus far, meaning that you got to sit, discuss and formulate policies. So with those policies in mind, what do you deem to be the top 5 risks that the country is currently facing, that those policies formulated in Limpopo can influence nationally and help mitigate those risks?
Yes. Good afternoon. Let me start by greeting you and the viewers. The risks remains. One is the economic challenges that we are facing currently. 2, it will be the actual pandemics that we are encountering this nowadays. 3, our own internal dynamics as a party, as the African National Congress. And 3, did I say 3? 4, I think it will be the issue of corruption. Corruption. That's one immediate challenge, that risk that we are facing currently. The corruption that is taking place, either done by our members or our leaders, or perhaps sometimes is in collaboration with others outside the organization. You said 5.
Yes, I did say 5. And are there any policies that you then were able to formulate last week at the conference that speaks to corruption, the economic decline, the pandemics, and most importantly, your party dynamics?
Absolutely. The economic recovery plan, more especially for us as a province, we sort of tightened it up. Because we always talk about this issue of diversification as a problem. Remember, we are strong when it comes to competitive advantages, economic competitive advantages. We are strong when it comes to mining, tourism, and agriculture. So, but we are saying we are not doing enough to sweat the rent that comes out of those sectors. So for us to do more than what we are doing currently, we need to come up with strategies that will help us to diversify the structure of our economy in the province. And we have done so. Hence, we're talking now of the SEZ, Special Economic Zone. We're talking about industrialization. We developed what we call an industrialization strategy, where you'll be in the position to can produce platinum and not only export or sell platinum raw as it is. You'll first refine it and sell finished products that are made out of platinum. The same will apply to chrome, diamonds. We've got coal also, we've got gold also in our province. We've got vanadium, which is highly wanted. I think we've got a mine that is, if not number 1, is the 2nd biggest mine producing vanadium in the world, not in South Africa. That mine is in Mukopane, owned by Anglo American. So what I'm trying to suggest is that conference was not only interested in leadership, despite the fact that we always say leadership is one of the most important resolutions of conference. But besides that, there are other more important resolutions. These are the kind of resolutions that I'm talking about. Economic development, economic recovery plan. And we also spoke very strongly, because you like it or not, corruption is a cancer that is killing our movement, that is killing our economy, that is killing our country. So we had to concentrate a lot of time on the issue of corruption as to how do we combat corruption. as an organization and as government, as our employees deployed in government. You know, the issue of step aside, we discussed it thoroughly. The loose ends that we need to tighten up around step aside, we also discussed that matter very extensively.
Mr. Mathabatha, now, sorry, we are running out of time, and I really just want to get more out of this conversation with you. Speaking about those loose ends, I mean, you've been elected now for a third term. What would you say you couldn't do in the first 2 terms that you would think that now you'd be able to change in the third term? Because a lot of people are speaking of that third term and whether or not the province of Limpopo doesn't have a succession plan that could possibly involve and include young minds, where we could have more experienced cadres such as yourself, rather than taking on the advisory level or the advisory role when it comes to the province of Limpopo.
Maybe our succession plan is more refined and thorough than just 2 terms. But to zoom straight and be pointed in your question, yes, we do have a succession plan. Hence, you had a situation where I was contested. The first 2 terms I was not contested. But this time I was contested. And I was contested by somebody who's equally capable, somebody who grew up below me. So that is why I am saying there is, once you develop people, you assist people to develop, not necessarily develop, you assist people to develop, and you reach a stage where those that you assisted to develop reach a stage where they can compete with you for the same position. You must know that you've got a proper succession plan. And remember, it's not only him. Out of my executive council, I'm sure that more than about 6 people, if I can decide, or perhaps the organization decide that step aside, or perhaps to recall me and send me elsewhere, I will still have either 5 or 6 people who are equally capable, who can take the program forward. What couldn't I do in the past 2 terms? There is a lot of things that I couldn't have done in the past 2 terms because conditions on the ground, objective material conditions on the ground were different. So we prepared that ground in the first year. We came into the second term. Government is stable, the organization is stable, all regions and branches of our movement in this province are in good standing. Something that we did not have before we took over in 2014. So now the time is ripe for anybody who comes in as premier to take the process forward, take the baton forward and run as fast as he can or she can. Because all those obstacles and impediments have been cleared.
Okay, Mr. Mathabatha, unfortunately I need to interject there. We are pressed for time. There's so much more that I wanted to get out of this conversation. With the Farmgate scandal having happened in your province, I wanted to know what your take on that was and how it would taint the current sitting president's image with regards to the December National Conference coming up. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for your inputs there. That is Mr. Stanley Mathabatha, who is the now thirdly elected ANC Limpopo chairperson. Now,